With what we're seeing across the market this week, there are a lot of mistakes that many people are about to make in their portfolios. A lot of questions are coming up now that we've seen a couple of headlines throughout the day, and especially with where the market is now the bottom. It is now time to start buying the dip and start going more risk on into the market. We're going to be breaking everything down in this video here. There are going to be some really awesome generational investment opportunities over the next couple of months here, but we have to understand the big picture of what we are seeing unfold in the market and the signs that we need to see in order to give us that green light. So before we get into all of that information, everybody, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. If you guys see that hype feature, hit that as well, and make sure you guys are subscribed and turn on notifications so you're notified every single time these videos do end up getting posted live. But let's get right into it here. We had the S&P 500 down about 0.25% today, with a couple of headlines coming out towards the end of the day that were helping move the market a little bit higher. Again, kind of getting it back above that 200 exponential moving average here. Now, as we all know, the movements in the oil market and obviously this situation that is unfolding in the Middle East is driving overall price action here. And as we can see, oil has not yet made a meaningful move lower, even after a couple of these crazy headlines that have come out about the actions and the measures that the United States government is willing to take in order to get oil prices back down. And we just heard another one from Scott Bessent today. Let's roll that clip and start breaking it down.
This is a coordinated effort. We had a break the glass plan across the administration and at Treasury. We unsanctioned Russian oil. We knew that there were about 130 million barrels on the water, and we created supply that is beyond the Straits of Hormuz. So we anticipated this. We knew that there could be a temporary, and I want to emphasize temporary, choke point there, and there was 130 million barrels of floating storage. In the coming days, we may unsanction the Iranian oil that's on the water. It's about 140 million barrels. So depending on how you count it, that's 10 days to 2 weeks of supply that the Iranians had been pushing out. That would have all gone to China. In essence, we will be using the Iranian barrels against the Iranians to keep the price down for the next 10 or 14 days as we continue this campaign.
Now, as we heard there from Scott Bessent, the most important part of that clip is that they are thinking about reducing the sanctions on Iranian oil in order to get more supply of oil into the market here in order to get the price of oil down. But as we can see here on the chart of oil, this isn't really affecting oil prices that much here in the short term. And this is actually coming after the United States government has actually taken even more drastic actions over the last week. The United States released 172 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And we also see things like this being announced too, which again was part of why we started to rally up towards the end of the day from Netanyahu. Need alternative routes that avoid Hormuz and Red Sea choke points here. Now, the main reason why we are not seeing, again, oil prices moving down or the market really starting to aggressively move to the downside here in a massive way, like an 8, 10, 12% move down, is because the market has continuously expected this taco narrative to start coming back and the Trump playbook, again, to come back to the forefront. We see aggressive actions being taken. We see escalation of those actions followed by a declaration of victory, and then a lot of these statements or escalatory actions end up getting walked back. But there is a lot of confusion right now in the market because we are seeing statements like, oh, we are now going to try and get the price of oil down. But we're also seeing that combined with statements that, okay, we're going to give ourselves, again, let's say 9 days of additional oil supply and now 14 days, which is suggesting to the market that this conflict could go on for a lot longer than what all of the talking heads in this current administration are currently saying. But what most people are failing to realize here is that this isn't necessarily just about the price of oil moving back to the downside. The damage to the system right now has already been done in the short term, which is why we have to continuously remain very cautious in this market, because we now have so many more hurdles that we need to get over. One of the things that came out this week was the producer price index here. So the producer price index, a measure of pipeline costs that producers receive for their products, increased at a seasonally adjusted rate of 0.7% on the month. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported on Wednesday, excluding volatile food and energy costs, the so-called core PPI increased by 0.5%. Now, this was wildly over the market's expectations here, and as we take a look at this chart, we can see a very notable move up here, or the start of a move up in the producer price index here. Now, what a lot of you might be thinking is, okay, we're looking at another inflation metric. This is just really going to be the result of oil prices and energy prices moving up as a whole. But that is not the case. This data is actually covering the period from before this conflict actually started to escalate. So what this piece of data is actually telling us here, and going back to this article, just like they say here, wholesale prices rose sharply in February, providing another sign that inflation continues to percolate, even aside from the current rising energy costs here, which is a major problem when you think about the way that the broad market has viewed monetary policy globally over the last year here. When we take a look again at some of the recent headlines that have come out today, again, we saw some movements in some headlines here from the ECB and the Bank of England. The Bank of England vindicated those expectations on Thursday when policymakers voted unanimously to keep rates on hold, and some raised the prospects of raising rates here. Traders now bet that the Bank of England will raise rates twice this year and see a chance of a third hike by year end. They had been pricing in less than a full chance of 2 hikes before the decision, highlighting the turnaround in markets. They had expected a rate cut at this meeting before the war. And this is the shift here that many are failing to realize. These movements in energy prices are just furthering a situation that was already starting to happen before this conflict started to escalate in the Middle East. And when we take a look at the United States' Federal Reserve and what the market is projecting after yesterday's FOMC meeting, where we heard a very cautious and uncertain Fed Chair Jerome Powell, we now have a 68.7% probability that there will be 0 rate cuts in 2026 here. Now, when we think about, okay, if oil ends up remaining at these elevated levels here, what could we actually expect to see out of these inflation metrics going through the rest of the year? Well, if oil was at 80 and it remained at those levels, we could see CPI go to 2.9%. Crude hitting 95, CPI can go up to 3.2%, which again, when we take a look at oil right now, we are right around that $95 level here. So the question that a lot of investors are asking themselves right now is this actual movement in oil going to stick? Are we going to see oil remain at these elevated levels here? Maybe we do see a push down and it hangs out in the 80s, maybe the 70s here, but either way, we could easily see sustained higher oil prices, which can continuously add upward pressure to a lot of these different inflation metrics, which is going to change, again, this big view that the market has had towards monetary policy over the last year or so here, ever since the Federal Reserve started cutting rates. When we take a look at gold here, this massive move to the upside that we have seen in gold is almost a direct result from the market viewing a lot of the fiscal policy that can come out of this administration under the kind of run it hot narrative, in that we were going to be in a period of declining interest rates for some time. And after we have seen these developments continue to unfold, we can see gold aggressively cracking to the downside here, again showing us that that paradigm shift is occurring. And then coming over and taking a look at the 2-year Treasury yield, which can give us an understanding of what traders in the overall market is expecting to happen with Fed policy, monetary policy, over a short period of time, we can see a very, very significant move up in this yield, showcasing to us that investors do expect the possibility of either less rate cuts than the market was previously expecting, or even the potential for a rate hike coming down the road. Now, a lot of these expectations are probably going to end up being very overblown, and as I've talked about time and time again, the bond market loves to overprice these very bad situations happening, which is where a lot of the most most fun trades actually occur within the bond market. But what investors really need to understand right now, and the main point that I'm trying to get across to all of you guys in this video here, is that this situation that's unfolding in Iran is not going to be one of those situations where we see this, a massive spike in oil, the market sells off a little bit, we see a little bit of de-escalation here, and then everything is fine. It is very different to what we saw last year with this tariff narrative, where people were getting worried that there might be an inflationary spike as a result of these new trade policies that were coming out. We didn't really see that significant increase that a lot of these economists were expecting, but this time around, we have already seen these inflation metrics starting to push to the upside, even without this massive increase in the price of energy across the board. And obviously, the Trump administration knows all of these things. That is exactly why we have continued to see these really aggressive efforts here to try and get the price of oil back down. Reducing the sanctions on Iran to try and flood the market with supply, reducing the sanctions on Russia, draining the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, laxing the Jones Act to make the cost of transportation a little bit lower here across the board. But what we have to realize at the same time is that the damage has kind of already been done, and we have to look forward to what we could see out of the market next. And what that is that next big round of inflation data in the context of the period that we are in at that time. And what I mean by that is that, let's say, for example, oil is still above 90 or really still above 85 here by the time that we get to that April round of inflation data, CPI, PPI, and PCE. When we do end up getting that relatively hot inflation round of inflation prints, well, if we continue to see oil at those elevated levels, that is going to be a very bad sign for the market. Rate hike expectations are going to go up, rate cut expectations are going to go down, and that is something that is going to occur globally, and absolutely something that can continuously weigh down on the equity market, which is why I'm making this video for you guys here today. I think there's going to be a lot of people coming out and saying, okay, this is about to come to an end, everything is fine, oil's going to come back to the downside, and what I'm here to tell you is that we still do not know yet. We need to make sure, like I always say, I'm perfectly fine with being late to the party in the market, but I need to make sure that there is a party going on. Right now, there is absolutely not a party going on in the market, and there is still a lot of risks left that, again, this conflict continues to go on for a little bit longer than expected. We continuously see oil stick at these elevated levels. Rate hike expectations continue to go to the upside. Hotter inflation prints. Very, let's say, cautious or uncertain statements coming from FOMC members here as we go into the next couple of weeks. We still have a lot of hurdles to get through here, and I think we need to see what happens next in order to make the best decision for ourselves and our portfolios moving forward. So looking at the chart of the S&P 500 here, we are at a very critical turning point. The next level that we have to the downside is right around 650 to 651. We have a couple of other levels potentially down here at about a 10% drawdown at 628. And then we have some very significant levels to the downside here right around that $613 range. Now, some of you guys might be looking at that and saying, wow, that is a long way down. For those of you guys that are in the Less Trades, More Profits community with me, I am hoping that we end up seeing this. If we end up getting this big move down in the market that, again, a lot of us have been asking for over the last couple of months here, the amount of opportunity in the market moving forward is going to be so immense, you are not going to want to miss it. There's going to be amazing dip buying opportunities. The trades are going to be absolutely amazing, but again, like I've said before, we need to wait for that overall confirmation out of the market that we can get out of this choppy period first, and all of the signs and signals that we are seeing out of the market right now are telling us to remain cautious and not go back to that risk on behavior just yet. So guys, that is going to wrap up this video here. If you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this one, make sure you go down and hit that like button. Costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you guys are, and turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. But until next time, guys, I will see you. Peace.